Hi viewers, welcome to More Light TV. I remain your host, Morlight. Thank you so much for always joining us on this edition of More Light TV. More Light TV has gone live now and we'll be rolling out videos almost on a daily basis or every other day. Why? Because we want to enlighten Nigerians and other Africans about what it takes to build a nation. We will be talking more on governance, on politics, on economy and development. We need it right now at this crucial time. And I tell you, if we don't get involved, Nigeria is not going to get any better. It's going to get worse. Today I would like to talk about why we need to be interested in politics the same way we are interested in our religion. I mean, why we need to take politics more seriously. Politics affect every facet of our life, just the same way whatever religion or faith you practice affect the entirety of your life. That is the same way politics affect us as a people, as an individual, as a family, wherever you come from, regardless of your status, of your class. Whatever government policies are being made would likely impact you. I want us to know that, see, God can be trusted but not politicians. I mean, we can afford to entrust our lives into God's hand and go to sleep, but not politicians. You can't do that with politicians. You know why? Because they are going to exploit you. Not only exploit you, they will exploit your children. Now I want us to know that politics will affect us. See, no matter how spiritual you are, the prices of goods and commodities will affect you one way or the other. So please, let's be real, because I hear a lot of Nigerians and Africans always calling on God when it comes to our politics. Now I'm not saying we should take God away from our politics, but I'm simply saying that God has given us mind and brain to think. Our ability to think as human beings is what differentiates us from animals. Our ability to think is our greatest asset that God has given to us. As a matter of fact, it's your number one capital asset and not money. And so if God has given us the ability to think, He has given us that ability so that we can reason through things, so that we can read through things, we can think through things and know that no, this thing is not good for me. Oh, that one is not good for me. But in Nigeria, we don't even know which politician is not good for us. As a matter of fact, you see people following politicians blindly, regardless of whether this politician is good for me or not. They don't want to care. They just follow them blindly.
Don't just show up in Canada and be thanking God. Canada was built by Canadians. Let me tell you the law of life. God said in Genesis chapter 1 verse 26, let us create this earth and divide it into nations and give Canada to Canadians. Give America to the American Indians. Give Nigeria to Nigerians. Give Kenya to Kenyans. Give Sierra Leone to Sierra Leoneans. Let us hide and watch and see what each of these people do with their country. The Canadians developed Canada. The American Indians were there inside the bush. Europeans came from Europe and developed the country and built a superpower. There are moral issues there, but that's what happened. They gave Kenya to Kenyans. They gave Ghana to Ghanaians. Ghanaians are trying. They gave Nigeria to Nigerians. Most Nigerians are shipping out of Nigeria. But God is watching. Only Nigerians can change Nigeria.
Gone are those days when we should leave the destiny of our lives and our children into the hands of politicians and go to sleep. Now we have done that for so long. Many Nigerians before now were not interested in politics, especially the youth. I'm so excited the way the youth are now waking up to politics and everyone seems to want to get involved. The level of interest now in Nigerian politics has increased, and that is why the politicians will no longer have it as easy as they used to have it. They should better know now that the game has changed. So we are going to go buy things from the same market. The inflation rate will definitely affect you. No matter how spiritual you claim to be or religious you claim to be, no matter the religion you practice, I tell you, we all go to the same market. So if we are neglecting that aspect to some set of greedy politicians, I tell you, they will determine how far you will go in life. Not only you, they will determine how far your children can go in life. They will determine the quality of education you and your children can get. They will determine the quality of life you can have, the kind of a house you can live in. They would even determine if your tendencies to be corrupt, to be given to crime, will be manifested now, later or sooner. They will determine that, because see, when the suffering and the hardship is too much, then people will take to crime. They will dip their hands into sin. They will begin to do the things they would never have thought they could do in their lives. When the hardship is too much, do you think the prostitutes on the street love it the way, you know, they are prostituting? No. If you ask them, some of them will tell you it's economic hardship that pushed us to it. There are some married women, despite the fact that they are married, they are sleeping around. Why? Because they need money. The economic hardship is too much. Same way, there are some men that you would never have thought that this kind of man will take to crime, will take to kidnapping. You know, we watch the news, we see the young fine gentlemen that are going into crime, some of them in their 20s, and you'll be wondering, this guy should be in school, why is he into crime? See, it's the economic hardship that is pushing these people into such crime. When your moral compass is not strong, is not standing well internally, I tell you, the economic situation of Nigeria has a way to propel you, to push you into doing the things you don't want to do ordinarily. Now, another thing that the politicians will determine if we don't begin to get interested in politics, they will determine how long you can live on earth. Yes, I know many of us are religious people in Nigeria and in Africa generally. Everything we will say, oh, is God, is God, is God. But excuse me, God has also given us a mind and a spirit and a brain for us to know what is good from what is bad. See, the way the insecurity in the land is going, if we are not careful, these bandits will begin to come to our vicinities. When we are going on the road, we can't be kidnapped, or our children can be kidnapped. Now we see all the things going around. People cannot even board buses safely. They will be hijacked and taken away. You know, some are killed for rituals, some are being robbed. So many things happening right now in Nigeria. I mean, there are so many people that never believe that they will lose their loved one on time if not for the Nigerian factor. Now, I've seen people that it is the poor facility at the Nigerian hospitals that made them lose their loved one, just because the health care facility is poor. I mean, poor. You need to visit Nigerian hospitals. You will shake your head. If you have been to the hospitals in developed country, you will be wondering, is this also for a human, is this healthcare also for a human being? Because the standard are just different. Why do you think even our president cannot use the hospital in Aso Rock? He will still have to fly out of Nigeria to use their medical facility. The current APC presidential aspirant, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that is aspiring to become the president of Nigeria at all costs. Look at him too. He's always flying out of Nigeria to get medical care. Why? Because they all know that the medical facility in Nigeria is poor. So they don't want to die, but they can leave every one of you Nigerians to die, because they know that some of you cannot afford to fly out of Nigeria, you know, to get the kind of good quality healthcare that you need. But if you are wise as Nigerians, every one of us need to get interested in politics the same way we are super excited, super interested in our various religions, that we will take our religion like, oh, it's a do or die thing. See, that is the same way we need to begin to take our politics, because see, it will impact directly on your life, on your disposable income. It will impact even on your marriage. I hope we know that a marriage where there is no money, there is no honor. See, the husband and wife will keep fighting endlessly. Why? Because there is no money. The Nigerian factor has scattered many marriages, has scattered many homes. Some children are dropped out from school. Why? Because their parents cannot afford the high amount of money private schools are charging. Government schools have become a shamble. I mean, when you go to Europe or to America, their elementary school up to high school is free, and when you visit the classroom, I mean, quality, high-tech classrooms with the children in elementary and primary school already using tablets and computers, and our own are still struggling. It's really sad. See, our politics in Nigeria will determine your disposable income, how much money you will have to spend. We can all see how inflation has eroded all our income. Fuel now has increased, food has increased, everything has increased, electricity tariff has increased. So what you have left to even enjoy your life with your wife or with your husband and with your family and children is something very little. Meanwhile, these politicians will amass wealth for themselves so that they will have more than enough even for their 10th generation, and you all are saying, oh, let's leave Nigerian politics to God, let's keep praying for Nigeria. Excuse me, if it is by prayers, don't you think that for the past 20 years, I think we've been praying for Nigeria since I was maybe 15 or 16 years old, or for the past 25 years or so. Don't you think if it were by prayers, by now God would have answered that prayer? God is not a wicked God. You've been praying for a country for the past 25 years and yet no changes. Rather, things are getting worse. Then you should know that God is equally waiting on Nigerians to begin to choose their leaders rightly. Choose. He has said before you life and death. But one thing about Nigerians is that they don't know what is good for them. You will see something that is killing you, you will still say that part is what you want. We can say that in all these political campaigns that is happening recently. I could not believe my eyes that despite all the suffering and the hardship the APC government has subjected Nigerians to, see people still trooping out, campaigning for the so-called party, and even some of the other parties that have done damage in the past, to Nigeria. So we need to understand these things, that if we neglect our politics, it's going to bite us hard in our bum. If we continue to neglect our politics, it will not only bite us, it will bite our children. And that is the reason why the people who have the resources are fleeing from Nigeria. Their people are leaving Nigeria. The brain drain in Nigeria currently is astronomical. I mean, it's astronomical. People are leaving. They are jetting out. By the day, they are going to different countries of the world. Look at that. Is that something to be proud of? And yet, our politicians don't see anything wrong in that. Rather, they still want to keep recycling themselves. I mean, in a country of 200 million people, you realize that the registered voters are not even up to 50% of that population. Does that show we are serious people? Out of 200 million population, registered voters are not up to 50%. I learned maybe they are like 90 million, and even the 90 million cannot vote because it's only the accredited voters that vote, which is only like about 35 million. And I'm like, what? I mean, that is like 20% of our population deciding or determining who will lead the 200 million people. Please, we need to wake up. We need to get involved in our politics. We need to get interested up to the grassroots. Those that will become our local government chairman, the House of Rep members, the senators. We need to begin to pay attention to those that will be in those spaces, because see, all these people in the House of Rep and House of Senate, I don't know what they are doing. These guys just sit fat in that place, and I can't see what they are doing, because whatever it is they are doing is not impacting on the average Nigerian. The people are not benefiting from their government. They are not making laws. They are not amending the laws. Look at the 1999 Constitution. The 1999 Constitution is constraining, it is restricting government from doing a law. Why has it not been amended? They are not thinking about that. Then why would a president that wants to rule Nigeria have highest qualification should be SSC? Excuse me, someone that wants to be the chief executive director of a Nigerian state, You are saying that the minimum criteria for him to be qualified to contest as president is O levels SSC. Excuse me, when you cannot allow an O level to be the MD CEO of a bank, you cannot allow an SSC WAEC holder to be the MD CEO of a conglomerate. I mean, when we have people with PhDs, people who are professors, people with masters, people who are experienced, talented and skilled men, fit men and women in that same country, Nigeria, you are telling us that it's just people with O levels that should be ruling us. See, enough of having untrained men, uneducated men at the corridors of power. Enough of having touts at the corridors of power. We need to clean that out. And that will not happen if all of us are not interested in politics. We need to get interested to the point that we will get our PCV and go out there and vote. Now look at America. When they were tired with Donald Trump, all they did simply was to go out there and allow all the pains that Donald Trump has caused them to flow into their thumb, and they went to that ballot and voted him out. Yes, they voted him out and voted who they wanted. So why can't Nigerians allow all the pains from the inflation, from the fuel scarcity, all the pains from the ASU strike, prolonged ASU strike, making our children sit at home for months, all the pains for not having good healthcare facility, all the pains from the high exchange rate we are having right now, that naira exchanging for dollar is as high as 800 naira now. I mean, why not allow all those pains to flow into your thumb and you go to that ballot box on that voters day, and you go to that ballot paper on that voters day and vote out those that have cost you that much pain and that much trouble. Let all the pain flow into your thumb and go there, vote them out. That is all we need to do. I don't know why we make everything look like it's rocket science. People will be shouting in their churches, pray for Nigeria. People will be, even in their mosques, they will say pray for Nigeria. After praying for Nigeria, let us also act, because prayer without works is dead. You need to act. Action. It is the action that will bring an answer to that prayer. But when you go sit down there, fold your hands and leave the politics to the tout, they will destroy your good destiny. They will destroy your bright future. See, they will mishandle and mismanage your life that you would never believe what you will become by leaving everything that has to do with your life to the hands of the politician. They will so much mismanage the lives of Nigerians that Nigerians will be like, what? We never knew things could degenerate into this. So to avoid another 8 years of pains and suffering, please and please, let every one of us begin to take our politics, our political life seriously as we take our various religions. Until this happens, change may still be far-fetched. Remember, during my master's program, one of our lecturers asked a question. He said, how come, despite we have many religious people concentrated in Nigeria, that the country is still not developed, it's not among the league of developed countries? That how come the most religious countries in the world are the least developed? He was asking us that we need to find a correlation between religion and development. That why is it that the most religious countries are usually the least developed? And he cited Nigeria as an example, that we have concentration of Christians, concentration of Muslims. They are so religious, yet the country is not developed. He said, shouldn't that make us to ask some critical questions? That means whatever religion we claim we are practicing is not impacting on our political life. And the reason why it's not impacting on our political life is because the people have been told many lies in the past, that politics is a dirty game, that they should not have any business to do with politics. Meanwhile, the same politics is determining how far they can go in life, is determining how far their children can go in life. Excuse me. See, the time has come for every one of us to rise up and get interested in politics the same way we are interested in our religion. It is until this happens that Nigeria will begin to see the light of the day, when the politicians know that we have well-informed, well-enlightened and able citizens. Then they will begin to fear us. They will begin to fear the citizens. But when they know these citizens are docile, with them anything goes, then they will take every one of us for a ride and continue to mismanage our lives, our destiny, and the lives of our children. Please, let's do something about this situation. Let's allow all the pains to flow into our tongue and go there, vote them out. I'd like to stop here now. Guess what? I'm just spreading more light.